Hey guys, welcome back to Ours for All channel. Anastasia here. Today I'd love to talk about a major 18th century English artist and an art entrepreneur of his time, William Hogarth. Hogarth realized the potential success of prints and engravings among the growing middle class. He sold his prints directly to the customer, cutting out the middleman who traditionally controlled the art market. By doing so, Hogarth was able to maintain complete control and monopoly over his own artwork. And with his own production and distribution, he was able to profit quite handsomely from this entire business endeavor. Overall, Hogarth's entrepreneurial spirit and marketing savvy helped him become one of the world's most known 18th century artists of his time. His legacy as an innovator in the art world continues to be felt to this day by other artists and art lovers. He really democratized art and profited well from doing so. On top of that, he comes from very humble beginnings. So he did this all on his own. Quite an interesting artist, I'd say. So let's dive into his life a little more. William Hogarth was an English artist who lived from 1697 to 1764. He's best known for his satirical engravings and paintings, which often commented on the social and political issues of his time. Some of my fellow art historians here on YouTube do an incredible job of the most famous works by Hogarth. So if you're interested to check them out, please do. Go look him up. Hogarth's work is quite heavy mentally. He's very real on the reality of life. As for his childhood, one thing is certain: Hogarth's family was really poor. He was born in London, England on November 10th, 1697 to Richard Hogarth, who's a Latin school teacher, and Anne Gibbons. He was the second of their three children who survived childhood. His father actually started a small cafe business later on, and when he passed away, he did leave his family in quite a tough financial situation. Hogarth attended St. Mary's School in Westminster, London. He did not receive a formal art education. In fact, he learned art of engraving from a silver plate engraver named Ellis Gamble. Hogarth's apprenticeship there lasted for 6 years, during which he honed his skills as an engraver and developed his own artistic style. Hogarth began working as an engraver in Sir James Thornhill's studio. Sir James Thornhill was a very notable artist in England who was the first painter to be ever knighted. Young Hogarth meets Thornhill's daughter Jane, and the two fall in love. They actually get married in secret. Hogarth did not want her father to think that he won some art recognition by proxy through the famous artist. He wanted to earn it all on his own. Jane was a supportive and influential partner to Hogarth throughout his entire career. She was also an artist in her own right, and she actually helped Hogarth with quite a few of his works. The couple did not have any children, but they were known for their hospitality and hosted many gatherings of artists and intellectuals of their time. A year after a young couple gets married, they buy a house in 1730. The house is located on what is now called Hogarth Lane in Chiswick, which is a suburb of London. The couple lived in this house their entire lives. It became the center of their social lives and their professional lives. Hogarth's house was not only a place where they lived, it was also a working studio and a gallery for his artwork. The house was decorated with many of his paintings and engravings, and he would often receive visitors to view his works there and discuss art and politics. The house also had a large garden, which served as a source of inspiration for Hogarth's work. Hogarth made a number of improvements to the house over the years, including the addition of a second floor, a new studio, a larger garden. The house remained in the family until the 19th century, and now it's a museum dedicated to Hogarth, and of course is presently known as the Hogarth House. The museum contains a collection of Hogarth's paintings, prints, engravings, as well as items that relate to his life and his career. You can tour the house and see where he worked, where he lived. Also, the museum features his garden that was renovated and restored back to what it looked like back in 18th century. Definitely a popular destination for art lovers and historians. He want to have a feeling of what it was like to live in his home. And it's a place where great artists lived and worked. Hogarth was a pioneer in the satirical prints, which became extremely popular in the 18th century. He created a number of series of paintings like Harlot's Progress, Reiki's Progress, de la Mode, that told moralistic tales through witty and satirical images. And these prints made Hogarth widely popular and successful. Check out my art historians on YouTube who talk about those paintings in more detail. Hogarth was also an innovator when it came to production and distribution of his art prints. He established his own print shop where he employed a team of skilled engravers to help him produce at a massive scale. And he also sold his prints directly to the public, cutting out the middleman who traditionally controlled the art market. By doing so, Hogarth was able to control the production of his prints and the distribution of them. And he was able to profit handsomely from doing both. The commercial success was there. It's important to know that William Hogarth's paintings and engravings were separate pieces of art, although he did often produce engravings from his original paintings. Hogarth was primarily a painter, and his early works were oil painting. He began to produce engravings later in his art career, and he recognized the commercial success of these engravings, especially among the middle class. And it's also important to note that his engravings were not necessarily identical copies of his paintings. Hogarth's engravings were original pieces of art that were made on a different medium. If you notice, some of his engravings, even though they seem like a copy of the original painting, it actually differs. For example, his famous series of Harlot's Progress, these are engravings in their own right. There are no paintings that go along with it. The smart entrepreneur that he was, of course, he would copy his paintings as prints via engraving to distribute them more widely to a wider audience. In a sense, his engravings were to monetize the paintings, which were tough to sell. And he did see himself as a painter, and he often considered his engravings to be less a work, so to speak. But he realized that that's where the money was coming from, so he wanted to monetize on that. He actually saw his engravings as a way to democratize art and make art available not just for the rich, but for the everyday people. He even once wrote, "My prints are my property, and I will not part from publishing them in any capacity that I want." In fact, there's even some kind of a law that he later on worked on that has to do with copyright of an artist's work. It's April 2023 right now, and if you're in Edmonton, Alberta, where I am, actually our Art Gallery of Alberta has Hogarth's engravings, or they have our prints of Hogarth's work, and you can check them out. They definitely have Marriage de la Mode and quite a few others. So it's incredible how I'm just in Edmonton, and his work is originally from all the way in England, and we have access to them because he was able to produce quite a few prints, sign them on the bottom. So it's really neat to see. Yeah, I'd go check it out. And I mean, his prints are all over the world, so no matter where you are, you can definitely see Hogarth's original work, original prints. So despite his effort on paintings, his engravings were the most popular ones. It had a significant impact on art at the time. They were widely distributed, and they put Hogarth on the map of the 18th century art. Today, both of his paintings and engravings and prints are widely celebrated and widely sold all over the world and collected as well. William Hogarth's art is known for its realism, social commentary, and often brutal honesty, which can make it emotionally difficult for viewers to see. His work often depicted the darker aspects of life in 18th century England, including poverty, crime, and exploitation of women and children. His works were intended to serve as social critiques and to highlight the injustices and inequalities of the time, which is still true to this day. In many of his works, Hogarth did not shy away from depicting cruelty. and violence. For example, his series of engravings called The Four Stages of Cruelty shows gradual descent of a young man into a life of violence and crime, culminating in his brutal end. These works can be emotionally difficult to look at because they depict the harsh realities in a way that's both unflinching and unsentimental. Furthermore, Hogarth's use of satire and caricature can be unsettling for some viewers, as it often involves exaggerating of physical features using humor to make pointed criticism of the society. And obviously this can create discomfort and unease in viewers, especially when the subject matter is dark and disturbing. Hogarth's work forces you to confront the uncomfortable truths about the world and our human nature. However, his work also serves as a powerful reminder for the need of compassion and empathy in society. On a brighter note, William Hogarth was a supporter of young artists, and he was known to promote young artists and help them out in any way he could. He believed in the importance of art education, and he was a strong advocate for development of young artists, and he really wanted to encourage young artistic talent. One way in which Hogarth was responsible for this encouraging of art education was to establish St. Martin's Lane Art Academy. This academy was developed in 1735, and Hogarth really focused on teaching painting, drawing, engraving to art students, and he really wanted to develop a holistic artist. This academy became an important institution in art education in the 18th century. Hogarth actually taught at this academy himself, and he was responsible for developing some of the world's famous artists in the world of British art. Hogarth was also a mentor to numerous artists, and he helped guide them and show tips and tricks on how to strive in the world of an artist as a career. He was also particularly supportive of women artists, and just like I mentioned earlier, his wife was an artist herself as well. And of course, women at that time faced significant barriers when it came to the art world, so he made sure to help present their work in front of key people who needed to see it. He provided encouragement and support to artists like Mary Moser and Angelica Kauffman, both of whom went on to become successful artists in their own right. And finally, Hogarth was known for his willingness to share all of his techniques with others, and that way carry on the art further. He actually published a number of influential works on art theory, including the analysis of beauty and the line of beauty, which helped shape the artistic discourse of his time, and these works are continued to be studied today. So yeah, overall, Hogarth's contribution to young artists was significant, and his legacy continues to inspire and support artists to today. And yeah, you guys, despite his very, very humble beginnings, Hogarth worked really hard, was extremely entrepreneurially savvy, and all of this helped him become one of the world's most known artists, and of course an artist that is massively celebrated in Britain as well. In our world, his work is recognized and celebrated for its wit, for its intelligence, and for the purpose that his art is trying to convey to the viewer. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope to see you soon. If you like this video, smash like and subscribe, and yeah, check out other videos as well on art history. I believe I have about 4 or 5 chapters. They're quite amazing, so maybe. I hope so. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye!